yesterday. He kept eating beef jerky all day.
Ew.
And he just couldn't stop. Like, he'd leave it for a few minutes and come back to it. And I was like, it's such a hot day. Beef jerky was a bad choice.
Now it's warm beef jerky. Yeah, I saw that bag sitting on the dining room table last night, and it was like beef jerky, but there was like juice had come out of it, and the bag was all juicy inside.
But it was always juicy because she uses like it's homemade. It's like got a sauce on it.
It's so gross.
So good.
So gross. Hello and welcome to episode 40 of the Press Continue podcast. I'm your host Adam.
And I'm your host Brittany.
And we're here today to talk about Altered Beast. But before we get into that, I have to talk about my crazy rough morning because I feel like I need to warn everyone out there too. Okay, so check this out. First thing this morning I get to work and I get a weird phone call. And they left a voice message, and it was like a voice message from the IRS.
What?
Saying to call them back. So sometimes I get weird calls. So I tried calling it back, and I get this guy on the other end who gives me a heavy Indian accent, but gives me, of course, a totally American name. This is like, hello, my name is Bob Sampson. And said he worked for the IRS and gave me his IRS badge number. And said that they recalculated my taxes for the past 3 years, and that I owe them $6,000 something.
Okay, this is totally fake, just to let you know, because the IRS doesn't call you like that. They send you a letter.
Well, wait a minute. Because and it was either and his thing was, you either need to pay now or we're putting a warrant out for your arrest. And, well,
we're sending the feds.
No, what's weird is today is the last day that I have to pay for a thing that I do owe the IRS. So I was like, okay.
Here's my credit card.
No, I was not doing that. So I was, arguing back and forth with the guy. I'm like, wait a minute. I've paid up all my taxes and everything, so I don't understand what you're talking about. And they're like, well, we recalculated your taxes, and it shows that you owe this, that, and the other. So I kept arguing back and forth. Then I asked him for paperwork for it, and he's like, well, we don't have to send you paperwork. We're the IRS. We can do whatever we want. And then it was, it turned into, you either pay us or you can argue this in court, and then you'll owe all the court fees. And it just like kept going back. This was like a 20, 30-minute conversation with this guy back and forth. And I don't know. Eventually, I was just like, none of this sounds right because you won't send me any paperwork. I have all the paperwork that says I'm paid up on my taxes. So this sounds like a scam to me. And he's like, well, I don't care what you think this is. We'll just hang up now. And whenever we hang up, they automatically dispatch an officer to your house. So they'll be there in 45 minutes. And that's so funny. I hung up and called Ashley at home. And yeah, no police ever showed up. I did Google the phone number that he called me on, and it's apparently a known thing that people are doing, scamming people, calling us the IRS. So they even have on there, report this to the IRS. And I called the IRS, and they were like, well, our phone lines are severely busy right now. Probably because everyone's trying to get scammed by this guy. So
everybody just trying to get scammed.
So yeah, so I reported it on the like IRS website or whatever. So look out for people calling you saying, hey, you owe back taxes.
Yeah, because it's totally fake.
But it threw off my whole day.
I can't believe you'd even listen to it for a minute, because it's totally fake.
Well, it was really good timing for that phone call. But also I thought it was weird because yesterday I did this thing on Facebook that had where you could put in like your name and email, and it would search your entire like police history and stuff to see if there's anything out on you. But when it got to the last part of it, it asked for more information from me, and I was like, screw this, I'm out of here. So I have a feeling that those two might be connected somehow, but that's just my own conspiracy theory right there.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but tonight I'll definitely be wearing a tinfoil hat to bed. So look out for that. There's your public safety announcement.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
Alright, so let's get on with talking about the game.
Okay.
Altered Beast.
Yeah, it's set in ancient Greece.
In a time. I feel like I need to talk like the movie phone guy. Not the movie phone guy, the guy that tells all the movie trailers. In a time in ancient Greece.
Yeah, you were resurrected by Zeus to rescue his daughter Athena. That's a girl he's smooching at the end.
Smooching.
Even though he has like a wolf head.
You just ruined the ending!
I'm sorry. Spoiler!
Spoiler! So, yeah, here, start with the story. Tell them the real story.
It is a time of gods and myths and legends, when men were warriors and courageously fought unnatural enemies in the endless battle of good against evil. It is a time of the Altered Beast. Summoned by Zeus, god of thunder, you have been awakened from the dead to challenge the wicked Neph, god of the underworld, for the fate of Athena. And Athena is no ordinary girl. She is the daughter of Zeus, and must take her rightful place among the gods if only you can free her from place of imprisonment. Although you were once a brave and awesome Roman centurion, the rigors of this journey demand a supernatural display of strength. And so you are bestowed with the powers of the Altered Beast. The power to transform your being into a part animal, part human, creature of formidable force.
You should see her face right now.
I like how the power to transform your being into a part animal, part human.
And that's what you do.
Yeah.
You're what? Walking through, fighting
You're walking
off
through,
some fighting
doing
off some crazy
front
stuff.
kicks.
The kicks.
Like
and
you're
the punches. What did I say? The Rockets?
Yeah, you're doing
I
front
keep wanting to
kicks.
say conga line, but that's
Me
wrong.
too. Like you're in the Rockettes,
Yeah.
and then you maybe get to kick an enemy. Because it seemed like it wasn't too fair with you, didn't it?
What do you mean?
Like when you kick and then you miss them.
And then, like,
They bowl you
slowly
over.
kick again?
Yeah, they like totally kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But kicking had a further reach than punching.
It did.
Even though punching looks way better, the kicks were more effective.
I didn't really think so.
It's super effective.
Super effective?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
I think you just made that up.
So, arcade in 1988, this came out.
Okay.
And then it actually came as the original pack-in game for the Sega Genesis on August 14th, 1989, when that came out.
So it came out first in an arcade.
Yes. Which I didn't even know about until I got my Sega Genesis.
Which is strange. Because you think you would have known about it, the arcade console first.
Yeah. So apparently it wasn't a very big arcade game, but they figured, hey, we should pack this in so everybody can play it.
And everyone can be disappointed.
And it was actually in the box art of the original Sega Genesis. Like, you saw the big wolf head with the fire around it, and that was like, whoa, this thing is so cool, look at how powerful it is.
Powerful, the fish all around it.
No, the Sega Genesis, not the fish.
No. Oh, I thought you meant the box, like the box art.
To the Sega Genesis. Oh, well, no, we haven't gotten to the box art of the game yet. We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, I remember seeing that boxed Genesis in the store. I saved up all summer cutting lawns and doing like odd jobs around the neighborhood. All summer I saved up and went to the store, went to Babbage's.
Babbage's.
Yeah.
That was a cool place. They had like some neat stuff there.
I love Babbage's. I wish it was still around.
Did they have like CDs and like collector records and stuff like that?
No, that was Tower Records.
No, it wasn't Tower Records. It was Babbage's because I worked at Gloria Jean's in the mall, and like all the girls were dating the guys at Babbage's. They had like CDs and like stuff like that. I just remember.
So coffee people and nerds.
Yeah, we just stood in the like thing and stared at each other all day.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty lame.
Well, the Babbage's I went to was just all games, but they had like a lot of PC games and like Neo Geo stuff and all that. I mean, it was crazy. I remember they always had the TVs out front that I'd sit there and watch for like an hour so I could see all the games play. Mm-hmm. Crazy stuff like that. But yeah, I remember buying it, and I bought that original Genesis, which had the Altered Beast on the front of the box, and it had like the flames and the werewolf head on the front. I was like, whoa, that's so cool. But yeah, because that came as a pack-in game, of course, I used to play it all day long.
Because it was a pack-in game, you played it all day long.
Yeah, because that was like one of the only games I got. When I bought my Genesis, it came with the game, and then I bought like 5 more to go with it, which the other ones I bought I know were like crazy hard. I know I bought Ghouls and Ghosts, which I know you played that recently. Ghostbusters, which is super hard. And apparently I don't remember the other ones, so they weren't that good. So yeah, I used to play Altered Beast all the time because it was easy and fun, and it was cool. So here, tell us about that awesome box art.
Yeah, it's really confusing because there's like fish all around this guy who has a wolf head.
But no water.
And I don't understand, there's no water.
But he is half animal, half human.
Is the head just not the only thing, or?
I don't know, I can't see his bottom half, and I don't really want to see his bottom half either.
Yeah, it's a little creepy. You could tell someone tried real hard.
Yeah. And that's, that's something, games back then, the box art on the front usually did not match anything that was in the game.
Yeah, it looked way better.
Look at, like, any of the Mega Man covers from the Nintendos.
Those are just weird.
They're the goofiest things ever. But everybody knows them because of it. So, figure that out. Terrible things are awesome now. Kind of like this game.
Yeah, it's just pretty terrible.
So, yeah. Transformation. That's what this game is all about. It's all about turning into the Altered Beast.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you do that?
You kill these like cows that are light colored.
You know what? Those aren't cows either. Forever, for my entire life, I thought that they were cows.
It's like
And then I played the arcade version.
Minotaur or something?
Which looks a little different. Now, there's like these weird... that like you'll have 2 or 3 brown cows that go by first. Mm-hmm. And then you have the white cow that comes... And again, they're not cows. What they are is 2-headed wolves.
No, they're not.
Yeah. And I was only able to tell that when I played the arcade version. Which I've played very little of, because it's like so much harder. But yeah, those are all 2-headed wolves. So anyway, you hit the white 2-headed wolf cow, and a little orb comes out, and you catch that orb, and it does the famous... Power up. Power up.
Mm-hmm. You have to catch 3 of them, though.
Yeah.
Which we were having trouble with because, like, inevitably one of us would hit that double-headed wolf thing, cow, and then take both of them instead of, sharing them.
Right.
So.
Yeah, when you play 2-player, which this is the first time I've ever played this game 2-player, and I've played this game my entire life, when you play single-player, you only get 1 orb at a time. When you play 2-player, you get two orbs, but... Like so many games, whenever you play 2-player, exactly what you said happens. Is one person gets both of them and the other one gets all butthurt. You took both the power-ups!
Well, it's because then you're like wandering around and you have the wolf power or whatever and your partner doesn't.
Right. It's like when you play Super Mario Wii, when you hit a question block and 2 mushrooms come out and you steal both mushrooms. Those people always get so angry. So angry. So the beast that you turn into depends on the level. Mm-hmm. First level, you get to turn into the werewolf, which again was on the front of the box and the Sega Genesis box. Second level, I
think is the coolest one.
Yeah, of course.
I think they should have saved that for the end.
Well, they did put it in the end too, because in the 5th, there's only 5 levels in this game. On the 5th level, you turn into the golden werewolf.
Oh.
But in between, level 2, you got a dragon that you turn into, like a lightning dragon. So that was kind of cool. Level 3, you turn into that bear.
That bear. That there bear.
So a weird, like, ice-spewing bear that spins. I just wanted to hug him. They look cute. I wanted to hug him. And then level 4, there's a were-tiger.
That was the lamest one, and its moves were bad.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It, like, got on all 4s and, like, kind of did a little, like, type move.
I kept making, like, meowy cat noises as I was playing as him, and it made it silly.
Yeah, it was hard to kill with that thing.
I always find more ways to make this game fun.
Do you?
Yeah,
why didn't you show me any of them?
Well, I've been playing this game my whole life, and it's making, like, stupid fun of everything. I like it.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. So, some of the enemies that you had, Like, what, in the first level we had, like, zombies and stuff like that. They had a lot of variety in this game for being such a old game. But I always thought it was weird, though, that I've never heard of this game except on the Sega Genesis. I didn't even know they made an arcade version of it. Didn't even know. Anyway.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
See, look. Oh, three-headed wolves. I'm sorry. Even though in the manual, it's got a picture of a two-headed wolf.
Those are cows that jump at you.
They look like cows.
I think I have ADD, because, like, if I see any movement outside, I'm like, I move. And they look, and I'm like, who's out there?
Shiny things. What is it, in the second level? The second level gets really weird, because you're, like, in a...
You got chicken leg in there.
Yeah, chicken leg.
I call them chicken stringers.
Back
That's what I said.
Back from all the way episode 1 of the Press Continue podcast.
I know. That was the first time I ever saw that guy.
It's been 40
and now
episodes.
I've seen him like over and over and over again in our journeys through old arcade games.
Yeah.
He's like the dumbest looking thing ever. That's why it's so weird that they used him over and over again.
Well, it's because the same people made this game.
Yeah, but it was dumb looking, so why wouldn't they come up with something better?
So, I don't know. There was a lot of variety, I think, in the game with the different enemies. I mean, like, there's Slimer. There was the zombies, the cows, the turtles. What? Stone monsters. These are all in the manual, too, which is kind of cool. Giant ants. And thought it was really... I still don't know how, like, a floating fish, which was even on the cover, showed up anywhere in that game.
It did.
Yeah, it did. In the last level, there was just a random fish that would come out.
Yeah, and it didn't. There was no water or anything.
No, it was just like floating along. The last level had like the weirdest enemies. They're called rad boars. They're totally rad.
Rad boar.
And the game's short, so last level or last monster that you fight, and you said it. Who was it?
Oh, Rocksteady?
Yeah. What's that all about?
Just a big rhino.
Yeah.
That looks kind of human.
Which is, I mean, out of all the other final bosses for all the other levels, I swear that was the least intimidating of them all.
Yeah, I was like, I guess we'll just kill this rhino.
So, I mean, the first boss turns into this big monster made out of heads and keeps throwing heads at you. Which I actually looked on the internet when I was looking up stuff about this game. They're making a foot tall statue that you can buy of that first boss.
Was it like a guy in robes?
Well, every time you get to the end of the level, you got the bald guy standing with purple robes, and he's shooting lightning, so you can't go past him because you can't fight him in his final form unless you've both transformed into the Altered Beast. Mm-hmm. And then when he does, of course, he says the other thing: "Welcome to your doom."
Welcome to your doom.
Which is another stuck in your head forever. You don't understand how amazing this game was.
I didn't really care for it that much.
No. But yeah, and he would always transform into his final form for the end boss, and yeah, that was an iconic thing. Is that first thing where it was a big thing made of heads, demon heads, and he would throw demon heads at you. As more demon heads showed up in the spot, it's just a weird game. I like it.
It was definitely weird.
Well, I'll tell you something about the legacy of this game, is that there's a magazine out of the UK, and it rated it number 1 out of the top 10 worst games for the system in 1992. So the system had been out for, 3 years, and it was this is the worst game
ever.
And everyone has it. Because everyone got it.
Well, maybe there's a reason they added it.
Yeah, but
you need to get rid of it.
Usually the game that comes with it is the thing that draws people to it. That's why eventually they switched to Sonic as the pack-in game. Because they were trying to fight with Mario. But I don't know. Why all the hate for this game, Brittany?
I didn't hate it. It just...
The world hates this game, though.
Really? Well, it plays so terribly in the kicking and... It's just, I was like, when are we gonna be done with this disaster? I don't know. I mean, it was a little bit fun, but it looks bad. The guys,
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, now take yourself and because this is how I always see it with this. This is my defense for this game, okay? Put yourself back in 1989, when the competitor was the regular Nintendo. Now the Sega Genesis comes out, 16-bit console, right? Mm-hmm. You got these giant characters on screen now. You got, this really colorful, detailed environment that you're playing in. You got this upgraded music and sound. You have freaking voices that can say more than one word. They're like doing full sentences and things like that. I think that all that together was like amazing when I was a kid. I was like, holy crap, I can't believe I got this kind of stuff at home. I don't know. Yeah. What do you think if you put yourself back in that?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look... It's not horrible, but it just... A lot of the elements together make it very cheesy. I mean...
Yeah, because you're a first-time player, and I've been playing this since it came out.
I don't care how old I was. Like, if it was back in the 80s, I would have been like, what is that guy doing? Like, I wouldn't have been impressed with that, I don't think.
You didn't like the muscles?
But, yeah, I mean, it was a fun game. It was lacking something.
Replayability?
Maybe it didn't hold up very well on the Sega. Did you see a difference in playing the arcade version?
The arcade is hard as hell.
Is it?
It's like super hard. I mean, the graphics and everything are better. The sound, of course, is better, but I didn't play the arcade very much, so I don't have a, full comparison of it. But I know that the arcade does look better, but the Genesis does an amazing job of replicating what was done in the arcade. But yeah, I mean, I remember like everybody's like, nothing, video games can't get any better than this until the Super Nintendo came out. Another thing I remember was that parents were outraged by this game.
Why? Because you're like transforming into a beast?
No, it's because Neff is Satan, and there's too many satanic messages in this game.
Neff is Satan?
Yes.
Sounds like your loser downstairs neighbor. Like.
Hey Neff, you going to the corner store for some beer again?
Some parents just look for something to.
Well, again, it was the 80s. Back when they were, freaking out about Mortal Kombat. Now nobody cares. Your 4-year-old will play Mortal Kombat. But, yeah, they were outraged by how violent it was, how realistic the violence was, and how there were so many, satanic religious messages built into the game. So it eventually got pulled from being the pack-in game in the system.
I must have missed them, because I didn't see any, and I was really looking.
Were you?
Yeah.
Yeah, again... Parents of the 80s were weird. I don't understand. So yeah, they stopped it as a pack-in, and it just had the system separate where you could buy it until it came with the Sonic pack-in. It's really crazy. I don't understand.
I don't either. Because, Sonic's head was spiky,
Ugh. And he was blue.
Yeah, I know.
The devil's blue. Because it's cold underground. So I don't know. Give it a rating, Brittany.
2 fish. 2 floating fish.
Okay.
Out of 10.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
Wow, you hated that game. I give it a 1 rise from your grave and 3 power-ups.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it. Because then you transform into an awesome game.
Yeah, I wish it transformed into an awesome game.
But it never did transfer into an awesome game because all the sequels were even worse than what you just played. So it never got any better for you. But I still like the original. So Brittany, what have you been watching on TV?
Well, I found out one thing. That I was totally duped.
By who?
Well, I don't know who, but when I got really angry at first when I read it, but then I was like, oh, okay. So what happened was someone posted a fake Lemony Snicket Netflix trailer on YouTube, and it looks really good.
Like it's going to be a series?
Yes, and when I saw the article saying, millions tricked by fake Netflix Lemony Snicket trailer, I was like, no! Because I was like thinking the show wasn't happening, but they are in the works of putting out a Lemony Snicket show on Netflix.
Oh, cool.
But that was not the trailer from Netflix. Someone made that, and it looks really good. You should put it up because it fooled a lot of people. It looks like Netflix made it, but they did not. Just some artist.
That's like that article that I sent you the one time that they were going to start making Firefly again.
Oh, yeah. What?
And then you get halfway through and it's like, psych!
Yeah, don't do that to me. No, my heart can't take it.
I did see something about a new Firefly, something coming out though.
On
a real website though.
Oh, okay.
So I think it was on IGN or something that they were like, new Firefly movie or episode or something like that's coming.
Well,
of course, I skimmed right over it because I don't care much about Firefly. But.
Well, September 20th, I believe, is Brown Coat Day, where you're supposed to get together with your friends and
poop inside coats.
Yeah, basically. But also like watch the Serenity movie and things like that.
Why is it Brown Coat Day?
Because they were the resistance in the show. And they wore brown coats, so that's how you knew them apart from.
Man, they'll just make anything into a holiday.
Yeah, it's awesome. You have no idea what you're missing. And also, the other show I've been watching is True Detective. I told you last week, it's getting a lot better. There's actually one scene from this last week's episode that just keeps playing in my mind, and I kind of want to watch it again.
Okay.
Rachel McAdams kills a large man with a small knife, and it's pretty interesting. Check it out.
How much stabbing did that take?
Like, she does it so quickly, the guy doesn't even realize he got cut.
Like Bruce Lee speed?
Yeah. And by the time you realize it, he's, like, dying.
She get him in the throat or in the stomach?
All over.
Oh, jeez.
From his leg up to his neck. And she did so quickly that, yeah, and I was like, whoa.
It's crazy.
Pretty awesome. So, yeah, I mean, check that stuff out.
I
gotta watch it again. I'll be right back.
Speaking of brutal movies...
Brutal.
I watched the 1970s movie The Warriors.
Oh, I saw you watching that. I was like, what the kind of garbage are you watching?
And that's probably kind of how I felt. It's like, who would be afraid of any of these gangs? Seriously. Because they had, the whole thing was about the gang, the Warriors. And they had a thing where one guy, head of one gang, like, called everybody, all the gangs together to, like, rally them together to take over the city. Mm-hmm. And some other gang, like, shoots the leader as he's giving his speech, which was the lamest rally speech I've ever heard. His tagline that he kept doing to get everyone to cheer was putting his arms up in the air and going, "Can you dig it?" And they would all cheer. I'm like, are you kidding? So anyway, so they shoot him, and then the guy that shot him, though, is yelling, and he's like, "The Warriors did it! It was the Warriors!" So everybody goes... They put out a thing where the people that were in his gang put out a hit on the Warriors, and the Warriors are trying to go from where this meeting place was all the way to the other side to Coney Island, which was their home turf. So they had to get through all these rival gangs. Well, the rival gangs were like the stupidest things I've ever seen. It was like, the Orphans, which were a bunch of people that basically were orphaned as children, and they grew up together.
Well,
and
that's a twist. I thought it would be something completely
different.
No,
it's totally stupid. And then they had this like girl gang that acts like the Sirens, and they lure them back to their apartment with, "Hey, we're gonna have sex with you, whatever." And then they try to shoot them, and they're literally right in front of them, and they still can't shoot them. So. Apparently in the 70s, women didn't know how to shoot guns. I don't know. They had another gang that was like... This was the worst one. It was people dressed up like baseball players, but then they had like Kiss makeup on.
Oh my god.
And they were chasing them down with baseball bats.
That's scary. That sounds
God.
terrifying.
No, it was just so stupid. There was a gang that was mimes with all top hats.
Of course there was.
They had a gang of roller skaters.
How about just a normal gang that deals drugs and has guns? That would be scary.
How? No, nobody had guns. They all had like baseball bats and barely knives, and it's just like the stupidest. Like, who would be even in the 70s? Would you really be afraid of these people? No. I know. I was just laughing through the whole movie. It was just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. But I can see how in the 70s it could have been like whoa, no one's ever made a movie like this before. Gang warfare. So it's another one of those things, if you put yourself in that time period, I can see how it could have been a good movie. But just like Altered Beast being a good game for its time period. But I'm still not convincing you.
No.
But I mean, I had to finally see it. The one thing that was neat about it was that in between scenes they did it like a comic book. So I know the Warriors now is a comic book series. So I don't know if back then it was a comic book series too.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Let's find out.
No, it's not. It's not worth my effort.
Saw a trailer for a game called Zombie, which is being released for PS4, Xbox, and PC. That was a pack-in title.
Okay.
For the Wii U when it came out in 2010.
Wasn't that iZombie?
It was Zombie,
Zombie
U. Yes, and it was not received that well.
Right. We've talked about it before, I think.
I think we may have.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to utilize the controller, the Wii U controller, in a way where it made gameplay difficult, but I guess it didn't do very well.
Right.
But yeah, they're releasing it for PS4 and Xbox, and it looks pretty good.
Oh yeah?
It looks really scary. Like, I don't think you could handle it.
Well, I can't handle any kind of scary games.
No, like zombies.
Yeah, I can't handle zombies either. So they knocked off the U and they're just making it zombie.
Zombie, yeah.
Okay, I thought eventually the sequel would be like Zomb, and then it would be Zo, then it'd just be Z.
Zombie U did have a sequel scheduled, but they canceled it because of it not making any money for the Wii U.
Good.
But
we have too many zombie games.
It looks really amazing.
Too many zombie games.
There's no such thing.
Yes.
Another thing I was looking at was the PlayStation Plus. Like, that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Because you get, free games, I think it's monthly.
Every month you get,
and they change.
5-6 free games, and it's, $10 a month? Is it still $10 a month?
I think it's based on how you pay for it, because it said $50 for 12 months.
Oh, okay.
But you have to pay $50 up front.
Yeah.
And then for 3 months it was $30.
But you get that $50 back real quick.
Oh,
After 2-3 months, you get all those free games.
Not even in the first month, all the titles that they have available.
Yeah.
Just looks awesome, but looking at it, they actually had one coming up available for free for the month on Tuesday, I think it is. Limbo, do you remember that game from 2010?
I think it was made by the same people that did Braid.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Same style.
Yeah.
I don't remember much of the game, but I
never
remember
played it, but yeah,
I remember the name and everything.
Kind of piqued my interest, and I remember seeing it and maybe talking about it, but never playing it. So.
Yeah.
And this isn't really game related, but I'm going to the Eat Your Kimchi event this Sunday in Atlanta.
Yeah, you're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Maybe talk some game stuff with one of their hosts. So
you'll have to tell us all about that on the next episode.
I will. Wonder if there's any cool arcades in Atlanta.
I don't know. You'll have to find one. Are you going to be there long enough to find out?
Yeah, we should have some free time.
Well, there you go. If you find any game stores, you better call me and be like, hey, they got this.
I always do.
I know.
When I was in Panama City, I found one that was trash.
It looked like somebody's garage that they just packed everything into.
There was so much there that I don't know how they found anything.
Well, they probably didn't.
I was like, do you have this? Let me dig through my pile.
Mm-hmm.
It was a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only news I have, and it was something I mentioned last time, is Windows 10 is officially out.
Mm-hmm.
And I put a thing on Facebook asking, hey, how's everybody doing with Windows 10? Can you still hear us? Does your computer still work? And didn't get much feedback, so either everyone's computer broke or they haven't downloaded it yet, because I know they're rolling out the downloads so that they don't overload their servers.
Well, what are they updating? What are you going to see new with that?
I don't keep track of Windows much anymore.
Nice.
But I know that one of the big updates is you're going to be able to... Cortana is being added to it, so you can just speak to your computer and it'll do whatever you want it to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just fixing all the things that Windows 8 broke. That's why they're offering it for free finally this time. And I was thinking about that today. Because every time Windows is upgraded, they've always charged everyone like $100 for the upgrade and like $300 for the full version.
Mm-hmm.
They're finally giving this out for free to just about everybody. So, are they just learning from Apple finally? Because Apple, every time they upgrade their OS, you don't have to pay for it. They just give it to you.
Yeah.
Maybe they're finally getting smart. I did also watch Tron, which the Tron starts out where the guy owns like the... or Tron Legacy, it's the new one.
Mm-hmm.
Where the guy owns the like Microsoft-like company, and a kid sneaks in while they're having their meeting about how much money they're going to make off of it and everything. He sneaks in, hacks their servers, and gives it out to free to the entire world.
Oh,
And then right in the middle of their presentation, it pops up on the screen showing that everything's just started downloading to everyone in the world, and everyone's stealing their new software that they were going to make billions on.
So how did the kid manage that? I mean...
Well, you find out in the first 10 minutes of the movie that there's somebody that owns 60% of the company, and it's him.
The kid?
Yes. So he breaks into his own company and does that because he doesn't feel that it's fair to the world. He feels like he should give that to the world and they should be able to use the new whatever and blah, blah, blah. So, that movie wasn't bad.
It wasn't?
It was okay.
Terrible reviews.
It was okay, but I don't know if I'd watch it again. It makes me kind of want to watch the first Tron just again to put myself back into that time period. And it's such a, big movie that's always carried through time, but I've never seen it. Just like The Warriors. So I don't know.
I haven't seen any of those stuff.
So far from what I've seen, we're not missing much.
Rise from your grave.
So Brittany,
Mm-hmm.
what have you been playing?
Well, I haven't really been playing much, but on my phone.
Well, what have you been playing on your phone?
I've been playing Alpha Bear.
Yeah, where'd you find out about that one?
On iTunes, I think.
Oh.
Just looking at games, and then,
I know that Almost Better Than Silence people are all about Alpha Bear.
Yeah, I don't ever get the, weird, combos that they get.
Well, what is this game? Tell me what this game is.
Well, it's a word puzzle game where you get a certain amount of letters, and by making words, you unlock bears.
Okay.
And, different types of bears, like fancy dressed bear or sleepy bear. But they have...
so stupid.
At the end of each round, it takes two of the words that you created and makes a sentence. And it can come up with some crazy sentences, but I don't really get it.
So it's like Mad Libs at the end.
Yeah. That's why it said you have a glass of tits before bed or whatever
Yeah.
for one of our
our
podcasting friends, and yeah, it's because they use the word tits.
Yeah,
they made that word, and I don't use that kind of language. So
yes, you do.
I would never use that in a
when
word
you're asleep.
game.
You should hear what comes out of your mouth.
And also, Card Wars was free, I think, 2 weeks ago.
Yep, I know. I sent you a text for
that
that one.
quite a bit. It's so fun.
Yeah,
it's fun on the phone because it's all animated.
Yeah, I actually just recently deleted it off my phone, though, because I needed space for something else.
Oh. Were you playing it, though?
Not really. Because I'm all into something else that...
Like actual card games?
Yeah. Yeah, I like a more physical card games instead of, digital card games.
It's cute with that game, though, because it looks like the cartoon, and you
Yeah.
can actually play it like that.
And you get all the voices and everything, too.
Mhm.
They did it good.
Yeah.
So, I just don't like digital cards. So I stopped playing Hearthstone again, too. Thus ends another chapter in the Press Continue podcast
We're recording for
library.
like the Renaissance Fair or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we?
I don't know, but I need like a beer and a turkey leg if we
A
are.
beer? No, an ale.
Oh, I'm sorry, an ale.
Or a mead. Which would you like, madam?
An ale.
Milady?
An ale.
Okay, so anyone named Al, make sure to call Brittany.
Oh, gross. Yeah.
What? You don't
Name
like
was
people named Al?
No. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a cute guy name.
Albert? That was my grandfather's name.
Exactly.
No, that was yours. Who had a grandfather named Albert?
Einstein? It's a grandkid.
He was his own grandfather. He was that much of a
Einstein's
genius that he figured out
grandchild.
how to be his own grandfather. So, I don't know, we need a hint for the next game, huh? Well, here's the hint. Alright, so what is that? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I played it.
No. Well, do you know what that is,
Do you?
listener?
You one guy?
The-
Talking to you,
yeah.
listener.
You know who you are.
Doug. Called you out.
So, alright, well, tune in next time where the gaming never ends, as long as you press continue
Bye.
and rise from your grave.